The magical tale, Layla's adventure with the wishing star. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between green hills and a bright blue sky, there lived a little girl named Layla. Every night before bed, Layla loved listening to stories, especially ones about magic and adventure. One evening, as she was getting ready to sleep, she saw a shining star fall from the sky and disappear behind the hills. This wasn't just any star, it was the wishing star her grandmother had once told her. Curious and brave, Layla decided to follow the star. She tiptoed out of her house, carrying a small lantern and a heart full of courage. Along the way, she met a tiny white rabbit named Dot, who was searching for his lost carrot. "Can I help you?" Layla asked kindly. "Of course," Dot replied happily. "But the path to where the star fell is long, and we must go through the dark forest." Layla wasn't afraid. She held Dot's paw, and together they journeyed on. In the forest, they heard strange noises, but they weren't scary. The trees could talk. "Don't be afraid, little ones. We guard this forest," whispered an old oak tree. It gave Layla and Dot a magical leaf that glowed in the dark. Next, they reached the Rainbow River, where a golden fish named Sparkle lived. Sparkle knew the way to the wishing star but needed Layla's help first. "Can you bring back the colors of the rainbow? A sad cloud has washed them away." Layla agreed. She sang a cheerful song, danced with Dot, and soon the cloud began to laugh. One by one, the rainbow's colors returned, painting the sky. Grateful, Sparkle guided them to the crystal cave where the star rested. Inside, everything sparkled like diamonds, and there, in the center, lay the wishing star, glowing warmly. "Hello, Layla," the star said softly. "You've come because you're kind and brave. What is your wish?" Layla thought for a moment, then smiled. "I wish for everyone to be happy, and for every child to have a beautiful bedtime story." The star shimmered brightly, filling the cave with golden light. The next morning, Layla woke up in her bed, as if it had all been a dream. But under her pillow, she found a silver feather, a reminder that the best adventures begin with a kind heart. Layla and the Moonlight Garden. One quiet evening, as Layla lay in bed, gazing at the silver moon, she noticed something extraordinary. The silver feather from her last adventure was glowing softly. When she touched it, a gentle voice whispered, "Follow the moonlight, and you'll find the garden where dreams bloom." Curious, Layla tiptoed to her window and saw a path of moonbeams stretching toward the forest. Without hesitation, she put on her cozy slippers and followed the light. The singing brook. As she walked, she heard a sweet melody. It was the singing brook, a stream that hummed lullabies. "Little traveler," the brook bubbled, "to enter the Moonlight Garden, you must answer a riddle. What grows without rain, shines without light, and flies without wings?" Layla thought carefully. "A dream," she exclaimed. The brook laughed in delight, and its waters parted, revealing a bridge made of stardust. The Moonlight Garden. On the other side, Layla gasped the garden was more beautiful than anything she'd ever seen. Flowers glowed like tiny lanterns, trees sparkled with dewdrop jewels, and fireflies danced in the air like living stars. A small fox with silver fur approached her. "Welcome, Layla. I am Ember, the keeper of dreams. The garden is fading because children have stopped dreaming happy dreams. Can you help? Layla nodded. But how? You must gather 4 dream petals, 1 for courage, 1 for kindness, 1 for hope, and 1 for laughter. The Dream Petal's Quest. The courage petal. Layla found it atop a tall hill, guarded by a sleepy owl. To reach it, she had to hum her favorite song in the dark, proving that bravery isn't about being unafraid, but about moving forward anyway. The kindness petal. Deep in the garden, a tiny mouse was stuck in a vine. Layla freed it, and in gratitude, the mouse led her to the second petal. The hope petal. A wounded butterfly couldn't fly. Layla made a splint from a twig and sang to it until its wings healed. As it took flight, it scattered glittering dust, revealing the third petal. The laughter petal, the trickiest one. A grumpy hedgehog refused to let her pass until she told the silliest joke she knew. Why did the cookie go to the doctor? Because it felt crumbly. The hedgehog giggled, and the final petal appeared. Restoring the garden. Layla placed the petals in the dream fountain, and instantly, the garden burst back to life, brighter and more magical than before. Ember the fox bowed. You've reminded the world how powerful dreams can be. Now take this. He gave her a moonflower seed. Plant it under your pillow, and you'll always have sweet dreams. As dawn approached, the garden faded, and Layla found herself back in bed. Was it real? Then she spotted the seed glowing softly in her palm. Layla and the door in the clouds. One night, as Layla tucked the moonflower seed under her pillow, something magical happened. It sprouted. Tiny vines curled around her bedposts, weaving a ladder of shimmering leaves that stretched up through her ceiling and into the starry sky. With a deep breath, Layla climbed. The kingdom above the clouds. At the top, she stepped onto a fluffy white cloud where a gate of swirling mist stood before her. Carved into its arch were the words, "Only those who remember their dreams may enter." Layla closed her eyes and thought of her adventures, the wishing star, the moonlight garden, and suddenly the gate swung open, revealing a floating city made of starlight. A boy with wings like a sparrow's zoomed down. "You're here," he cheered. "I'm Kite, the dream courier. The Sky King needs your help." The Stolen Night Songs. In the Crystal Palace, the Sky King, a gentle giant with a beard like storm clouds, sighed. Someone has stolen the night songs, the melodies that help children sleep. Without them, the world is full of tossing and turning. A trail of sleepy fireflies led to the culprit, the Shadow Nibbler, a creature made of midnight who hated lullabies. "Dreams are too loud," it grumbled, hiding the songs in a jar. But kindness cure. Layla knew the Shadow Nibbler wasn't truly mean, just lonely. She sat beside it and whispered, "I'll tell you a secret. The softest dreams are the ones we share." Then she sang the first song her grandmother ever taught her. The nibbler's edges softened from thorny black to velvety purple. One by one, it released the night songs back into the wind. A gift for Layla. Grateful, the Sky King gifted her a tiny cloud in a bottle. When you can't sleep, open it. You'll hear the night songs wherever you are. As the first notes floated out, Layla's eyelids grew heavy. Kite flew her home, tucking her in just as the moonflower vines retreated. In the morning, had it been a dream? But on her windowsill sat the bottle, pulsing with a soft, sleepy glow. Layla and the Dream Weaver's Secret. The little cloud bottle glowed brighter each night, humming lullabies that made Layla's room feel like a cradle of stars. But one evening, instead of music, the bottle spoke in a voice like wind chimes. The dream weaver is trapped. Bring 3 colors from the waking world to free her. The colors of dawn. The first color, golden laughter. Layla remembered how her baby brother's giggles sparkled in the sunlight. She cupped her hands and caught one of his laughs as it floated by. It turned into a swirl of gold in her palm. The second color, blue kindness. At the park, she helped an old woman pick up scattered yarn. The woman smiled and handed her a thread of the softest blue, whispering, "Kindness always returns." The third color, green courage. She stood up to a bully at school for teasing a shy classmate. Her heart pounded like a drum, but afterward, she found a green leaf in her pocket, warm as bravery. The hidden door in the stars. That night, the bottle absorbed the colors and shot a beam of light at her bedroom wall, revealing a door painted with constellations. Layla turned the star-shaped knob and stepped into the realm of half-dreams, where everything was blurry at the edges. A weeping spider the size of a teacup scurried to her. They took the Dreamweaver. Now children's dreams are tangled and lost. She pointed to a tower made of hourglasses, each filled with swirling sand. The time thief's riddle. At the tower's peak sat the time thief, cloaked in stolen minutes. "Solve my riddle or join my collection," he croaked, gesturing to frozen dreamers in glass jars. What can you hold but never touch? That bends and stretches means so much. It stitches night to morning light. Now guess or stay here out of sight. Layla thought of her grandmother's stories. "A dream," she answered. The thief howled as his tower crumbled into sand, freeing the Dreamweaver, a woman with hair like the Milky Way. The loom of stories. In gratitude, the Dreamweaver showed Layla her loom, where dreams were woven from starlight and whispers. "You've earned a thread of your own," she said, handing Layla a needle that sewed stories into the air. "Use it to mend nightmares into sweet dreams." As dawn approached, Layla found herself back in bed, the needle tucked safely under her pillow. Outside, the first birds began to sing, but were they birds or the Dreamweaver's laughter? Layla and the Library of Lost Dreams. One rainy afternoon, as Layla traced the Dreamweaver's needle along her windowsill, the glass fogged up with words. Follow the ink-stained path to where forgotten dreams are kept. A trail of glowing footprints, like spilled starlight, appeared on her bedroom floor. She slipped on her coat and stepped, whoosh, right into a library floating in a snow globe of twilight. The keeper of lost things. A tiny owl with spectacles made of ice perched on a stack of books. "Ah, Layla," it hooted. "I'm Parchment, the librarian of lost dreams. Someone's been tearing pages from the book of slumber. Without them, children wake up forgetting their dreams." He fluttered to a shelf where a tattered book pulsed like a heart. Its missing pages fluttered in the air like trapped butterflies. Only a child who remembers all her dreams can catch them, Parchment said. The shadow at the edge of the library. As Layla chased the pages, she noticed a figure in a cloak of static, the Forgetter, a being made of almost remembered things. Dreams are too bright, it crackled. I collect what no one minds losing. But Layla saw the truth. The Forgetter was lonely. No one ever stayed in its foggy corner of the world. The memory trade. Layla reached into her pocket and pulled out a pebble from her first adventure, bravery, the silver feather, kindness, and the moonflower seed's shell, hope. I'll trade you these memories for the pages, she offered. The Forgetter's static softened into mist. No one's ever given me memories before. It carefully placed the stolen pages into Layla's hands, mending the book. As each page touched the book, a dream of flying reignited with a whoosh of wind. A silly dream about talking cupcakes giggled back to life, and a little boy's lost dream of finding his lost dog glowed gold. Parchment hooted proudly. You've done what no librarian could. As thanks, he gifted her a quill that writes in dream ink. Now you can record your own adventures and others too. The secret in the backpack. Layla woke at her desk, the quill tucked behind her ear. Had she dozed off? But when she opened her school bag, she gasped inside lay a tiny, perfect book titled Layla's Dream Archives, already filled with the first chapter. Layla and the Symphony of Shadows. The moment Layla opened Layla's Dream Archives, the words inside began to drip off the page, pooling into a silver puddle on her floor. A single note like a cello played under the sea rose from its depths, pulling her into the liquid mirror. She surfaced in an orchestra hall made of obsidian, where shadowy musicians played instruments carved from midnight. The conductor, without a face. At the podium stood a figure in a suit of swirling smoke, arms moving gracefully, but where its face should be, there was only a black hole humming a lullaby. Ah, our dream scribe arrives, it intoned. Every century, a child is chosen to conduct the Symphony of Shadows, the music that keeps nightmares from growing too loud. Tonight, it's your turn. It handed her a baton made from a frozen tear. The broken instrument. The symphony was missing its heartpipe, a flute that soothes angry dreams. Stolen by the Hollow Prince, a boy who'd traded his shadow for endless waking. He thinks if no one sleeps, he won't be alone, whispered the violin, its strings frayed with sadness. The city that never dreams. Layla followed the sound of footsteps echoing backward to a glass city where people walked with eyes wide open, their pupils flickering like tired screens. The Hollow Prince sat on a throne of alarm clocks, the heartpipe clutched in his hand. Dreams lie, he said flatly. They promise and disappear. The lullaby trade. Layla didn't argue. Instead, she sat beside him and did something unexpected. She hummed the song her mother sang when she was sick, the one that made fevered dreams feel safe. The prince's clock hands stuttered. I'd forgotten that one. Slowly, he handed her the flute. But it's too late for me, my shadow's gone. Then I'll share mine, said Layla. She held out her own shadow, and as the heartpipe played, the prince's new shadow grew from the notes, stitched together from starlight and her melody. The final movement. Back in the obsidian hall, Layla raised the baton. The symphony swelled. weaving the heartpipe's song into every instrument. Outside, across the world, a child's nightmare of falling became a dream of flying. A wolf's growl in the dark turned into a puppy's yawn, and the Hollow Prince at last closed his eyes. The baton's secret. At dawn, Layla woke with a start. Her hand clutched not the baton, but a pencil etched with musical notes. Layla's Forever Lullaby. The night Layla's shadow waved back, she knew her adventures were changing. The pencil, the quill, the needle, they all glowed at once, spelling a word on her wall. Enough. Not an ending, but a beginning of a different kind. The gift of ordinary magic. The next evening, as Layla tucked her brother into bed, he whispered, "Tell me a story about you." So she did. She spoke of stars that could be caught in jars, of foxes who tended dreams, and of a prince who learned to sleep again. But this time, she let him add his own details. What if the fox had a hat? He giggled. Then it would be the fanciest dreamkeeper ever, she agreed. The real secret. That night, Layla's shadow stretched long across the moonlit floor, but it no longer moved on its own. The magic hadn't left, it had settled like stardust in her bones. She opened Layla's dream archives to a new page and wrote, "The best adventures don't end, they become stories we give away." Then she placed the book under her pillow, where it hummed softly a lullaby just for her. The last surprise. Years later, when Layla was grown, she found her brother reading to his child from a familiar book with a silver spine. "Where'd you get that?" she asked. Though she already knew, he smiled. "It appeared under my pillow one night." Funny, isn't it? And as the first stars blinked awake outside, the book's pages fluttered, just once as if waving back,